Now I am trying again. You see what is the result.
Yes, we are able to hear you and see you.
Okay.
We are able to hear you and see you. But but can you put off the WhatsApp, because I think I can hear you because of WhatsApp. You put off the WhatsApp and let me see if I can hear you through the Zoom.
Okay.
If you can put off the phone, then because now I'm hearing you through the phone.
I see.
Yes, so I will cut the phone call.
Yes.
And then if you have to unmute yourself, Swamiji. Can you hear me? You have to unmute.
Unmute. Is it okay?
Yes, now it's okay.
Now
we
it is
can hear
okay.
you and see you. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Let us wait for others.
Yes, thank you. Very
Swamiji.
Yes. I think others are having problem. There is no one else. Chitra,
Yes.
there is no one else.
No, there are many people, Swamiji.
There are many people.
Yes,
Okay.
there are many people. Mr. and
Okay.
Mrs. Ganguly, Rita Datta, the Beauty Paul.
Okay.
Yeah, many people have joined. 12 participants are there.
Okay. Should we begin?
Yes, we can begin, I think.
Okay. Thank you. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya tuvaidhyakena yopakarastang prabarang muninam Patanjaling pranjaliranutusmi. Now we are in your Vibhutipada, the third book of Patanjali, and one of the things, very important things discussed last time was the 23rd sloka, which says sutra, which says sopakramam nirupakramam cha karma tat samyamat aparanta jnanam Arishtebho va. Now, this is very important with they're saying that those karmas of two kinds, those who are soon to be fructified and which are very late to be fructified. By making sangyama on them, the yogi knows his time of death, because according to Hindu ideas of karma, this our present birth is related to that type of karma which is called the prarabdha. That means the arrow, you see, the imagery is like this: the arrow has been shot, and over that arrow, the archer has no control. So on the prarabdha, that means it's what they call in the language of yoga vipaka. That means it's the results which are yati ayu bhoga. Bhoga means both positive and negative bhoga, sukha and dukkha. All these things are related to your prarabdha karma. So by making sangyama on prarabdha and anagata karma, which are to be fructified, not yet they are operational, the yogi comes to know about his or her end of this existence, which is called death. And there is another line, Arishtabhova, or by other portents. For example, I mentioned the last time that you press the corners of the eyes a little, pressing, and you see a luminous circle. When you do not see it, your end is very near. That means within 7 to 10 days you will die. That means the body has, is almost worn out, and that is the machine will collapse, the machine called the human body. It is very important for Hindus because the time of death is there are always the Shastras, so many Shastras, especially the Gita, hints that the last thought is a very great thought. It has a determining factor on your next existence, type of existence. So that's why Hindus try to chant the name of God, etc. Or people nearby, the dying person chant the name of God, so that this idea is imprinted. So that is, in fact, Chandogya Upanishad mentions Krishna and also his mother and also his guru. And only one such only one of the advices given by his guru to Krishna is mentioned. That means Chandogya says that at the hour of death, you should think that you are Ajaro Amara. You are without death, without this infirmity, etc. Idea is that you accent upon your spiritual thing. This body is just a temporary instrument, it will be cast aside, but your this sense, this what they call Jivatman, the Jivatman will continue. Only in cases where the Jivatman is highly evolved spirituality, in spiritual life, so the Jivatman will become, you see, it does not become Paramatman, it casts up the illusion that it is Jiva. See. Actually, as we have discussed yesterday, we are all the time we are Brahman. Only that we do not realize it, we do not feel it, and that feeling, that realization is the goal of life. Let's say we are always God, not that we have to become Brahman or something like that. That is, when you say this, that we have to become Brahman, etc. As the sloka is there, Brahmavidva Brahmaiva Bhavati, as if when you know Brahman, you become Brahman. Become Brahman means you cast up the illusion. You do not become anything. You are as you were before. Only that you have no illusion. The mind has become very clear. So that's why it is very important. And then this our sutras are continuing. The next sutra is Mitradishu Bolani. Maitri, you say Maitri means all related thing. Maitri, Karuna, etc. These are all related. That's why the word is Adishu, Maitri, etc. Friendship means the sense of friendship with everyone, and that means lack of animosity and compassion. You see, as the Gita says in the 12th chapter, when it discusses the characteristics of the highest devotee. It mentions it that there must be Maitra Karuna Evacha, etc. There should be this Advishta Sadbhutanang Maitra Karuna Evacha. Like that, the whole list, they are mentioning some 30 virtues, but especially here, this set of values, this set of virtues, friendship, your compassion, etc., empathy, all these things are there. So if the yogi makes samyama on them, they excel in those qualities. By making samyama on these values, these virtues, they become, you see, too much full of that. Then, Baleshu Husti Baladini, by making samyama on the strength of the elephant and others, you see, others means other strong animals, for example, lion, etc., tiger, etc. Their respective strength comes to the yogi. So, this I have not seen like this. That means I have not seen or heard like this, but I have heard of human beings. In Bengal, there have been exceptional Bengalis. One is this great freedom fighter, Jatindranath Mukhopadhyay, who is called Tiger Yotin, because he slapped a Royal Bengal tiger and the Royal Bengal tiger soon. You see, such strength, there are people who have such strength, or they talk about a person who was also a Brahmin. You see, he spinned a donkey. Donkey is the instrument with which villagers pound their rice. It is a huge bulk thing of made of wood. So to uproot it and swing it to say disperse a band of dacoits, it is something. You see. So he is called Ashananda Dheki. As Bhagajatin is there, so Ashananda Dheki is there. So such things, you see, are seen certain times. And you know, in modern times also there have been wrestlers who wrestled with your ferocious animals. For example, lions, etc. And they used to challenge the lion and used to put their hand into the mouth of the lion and then make it, it's a twist of the arm so that say the lion is totally incapacitated. So such things. Now, but I have not seen any yogi doing that, but Patanjali says that it is possible for a yogi to do that. Of course, I know one case. There is a yogi in Mirzapur, and this expedition, which is called From the Sea to the Sky. That expedition was, that means it was just a speedboat which was coming from the mouth of the Ganges, up this Ganges to Haridwar, the last point where the Ganges is falling from the mountains to the level of the land. So when the speedboat reached Mirzapur, the yogi was on the bank of the river and he threw a challenge that he can stop this boat. And the challenge was taken. But the yogi said there must be a little connection. That means a little your rope or something. So that connection was made and the speedboat could not move. The yogi say did something and the speedboat could not move. It is this expedition was being conducted by the same person who went to the top of Everest in 1953. Pravitya loka nyasat sukshma vyavahita viprakishta jnanam. Now, Pravitya loka nyasat, by making sanyama on the effulgent light, which comes, which comes to the yogi. Effulgent light means when the yogi is highly purified, they call it Jyotishmati Pravritti. That means there is some inner light which shines in the yogi. So through that, you see, by making samyama on that light, so all the knowledge of fine, obstructed, remote things come to the yogi. So you see, but you see, as I have said, that certain times without such samyama, you see, things are obtained, as in the case of Swami Vivekananda Naren. I have said one day that when to see Naren, Ramakrishna and Latu came with a horse-drawn carriage, and Naren said that he was going out, but he saw them on the bridge, which is a few kilometers away. So immediately Sri Ramakrishna said that it is a bad sign that you are developing such power. So you stop meditating for 7 days. This power will go away. That means certain times when the yogis are excelling in their virtues, these powers come to them unasked for. So they do not make any samyama, etc. Bhuvana Jnanam Surye Sanyamat. When the yogi makes samyama on the sun, Bhuvana means world, means universe. But the texts explain that that part of the universe which is illumined by the rays of the sun. So when the yogi will not have the knowledge of the whole universe, the different galaxies, etc., not that, but a great part of the universe which is having sufficient light from the sun, that knowledge will come to the yogi. Chandre tarabhyuha jnanam. And when a yogi makes samyama on the moon, you see, the previous sutra says on the sun, and you have this. When the sun is there in the sky, the stars are not seen. So that makes a difficulty for the yogi to make samyama on the stars. But in the night time, when the moon is there, and moon is well shining, so then making samyama on that moon, he will have the knowledge of the cluster of stars. But you see, it is you should not think that it is the whole universe is known to the yogi. It is the universe, you see, which is the part of the universe which is seen by the eyes of the yogi. You see, it is that part. Dhruve tad gati jnanam. When the yogi makes samyama on the pole star. Pole star is a special star in the sense that at least in the northern hemisphere, you see, the earth is moving, as you know, at an inclined position on its orbit. It is not moving 90 degrees, say on the orbit, it is moving in a slant. It is like that moving. So when it is moving, earth is moving around itself, it is moving along the orbit. At the same time, it is moving, say, it is spinning like a top, you see. So when it spins, there is one central line which is not being spinned, against which the spin is there. You understand? As in the case of a, you see, so this line, if you extend it, it touches almost to the pole star in the northern hemisphere. That's why all the stars you see, they're moving. If you look at the sky at any given point, and if you come after half an hour, you will see that positions have changed. You see, because the earth is moving. Now, one point, this pole star does not move because it falls almost in the line of that central point along which the earth is moving, like this. You see. So that is why it is called Dhruva. Dhruva means fixed. The word Dhruva means fixed. That's why it is called Dhruvatara. That means the fixed star, the pole star. So they say that, you see, here the sutra says that by making Samyama on the pole star, the yogi will know Tadgati, means this sutra is related to the previous sutra. That means the speed of the stars. Tadgati Jnanam means Taragati Jnanam. Navi Chakre Kaya Vyuha Jnanam. If the yogi makes samyama on his or her navel, the circle, this is surrounding the navel. So from that, he gets the knowledge about the constitution of his body, his or her body. Kantakupe Kshutpipasa Nivrittihi. When the yogi makes samyama on the Kantakupa, Kupa means there is a hollow at the base of the throat. And the base of the throat, and where the ribs begin to, this cage of the ribs begin, at that junction there is a hollow. And so that means that there is no bone there. Say no bone, no strong muscles are there. That is called Kupa. Kupa means well, Kanta Kupa. So by making Sanjama on that area, there is cessation of hunger and thirst. The yogi does not feel this hunger and thirst. Kshut pipasa nivrittihi. Kurmanadyam stharyam. And the nerve center called kurma, it is a little below this kantakupa. So my making samyama there, the yogi attains fixity of the body. His body will become still. Murdha Jyotishi Siddha Darshanam. And the light which is in the head, crown of the, you see, that means which is your, when in children, you see, there is a soft point on their head. Just after childbirth, there is a soft point on the head. That is the see, the seat of the gland. They say, the yogis say that as if you keep a very precious diamond in the room, the light of the diamonds, they, you see, they tend to, the rays from the diamond, they tend to converge towards the top point of the house. Similarly, this Satika element of our mind, they converge there at the top of the head. This is, and there is naturally there is some illumination. Illumination is mental illumination there. There is, our body is related to the mind, so this part is tremendously connected with that. You see, that light, that purified sattva. So on that light, Murdha Jyotishi, if the yogi does Sanyama, then they see the class of beings called Siddhas. Siddhas they are great souls, not ordinary phantoms. They are great souls who have passed away and who are not incarnated. Say they are passed away because Hindu scriptures affirm that if a person is highly spiritually developed but has not attained the highest perfection, spiritual perfection, then he need not take another body. He will continue his spiritual practice in that disembodied state. So these are, you see, the class of Siddhas. They are not ordinary phantoms, they are high class, your departed beings, but belonging to a higher class. So you see them when you Pratibhadva Sarvam, or this there is a term called Pratibha. Normally it is understood as talent. Talent in the sense that you have some in your mind, there is some great power is in any direction, which is more than ordinary mental power. So that is talent. Now this is Pratibha. Now from that adjective is Pratibha, and the sutra says that from Pratibha, now what is this Pratibha? You know, when there is sunrise, before the sunrise, the horizon is glowing up. It is in Sanskrit, it is called Aruna. Aruna means sun has not yet horizon, but there is already, the horizon is blown up. So that is Aruna. Similarly, when, according to yoga system, when the ultimate, they call it Kaivalya, that means the Purusha and Prakriti, they are totally separated. The yogi is totally confirmed, and he has realized that he is not a part of this matter called Prakriti. That is neither physical nor psychical. He is a spiritual entity, the Purusha. So before that happens, it does not happen all on a sudden. You see, as before the sunrise, there is Aruna. So this kind of aurora is there in, you see, in yogi's mind. He begins to understand many things before he achieves the highest. You see. So Ramakrishna used to give the analogy of a landlord and his poor servant. The poor servant lives in a cottage. Suddenly, neighbors of the servant see that his garden is being cleaned up. Then he sees that the entrance to the cottage is being decorated. Next day, he sees that some good furnished, you see, things are entering into this cottage. Then they understand that the landlord himself will arrive. That's why he is sending them, you see, to his servant's house. Similarly, the yogi or the aspirant, spiritual aspirant, long before he has attained the highest, many things are seen in him. That means, first of all, there is a kind of your glow in his physical body. His mind, is very tranquil, and when he meets and talks with someone, this tranquility is felt. The other day I was reading that a couple went to Swami Brahmananda in Balaram Bosh's house, and Balaram Bosh and Swami Brahmananda was sitting in a hall, and they went there. So they said that we want to be initiated by you, if you would grant us that favor. Then Swami Brahmananda said that you go to the Holy Mother. She is in Calcutta. You go to her and ask for it. Then the couples, you see, the man said, then you have to make arrangement for it. You see. At this, Swami Brahmananda, laughed aloud. Laughed aloud. The man is saying that as he laughed, as if waves of spiritual, spirituality spread in the room. As he laughed. So they felt it, that the whole room was full of spiritual vibration. This happens, this kind of thing begins to happen even to the yogi at very high stages. So that is prativa, So it is saying, the sutra is saying, prativadva sarvam. You can have all these your things without any samyama, because you have risen. The yogi is on a very high level. He does not have to make samyama on this and that, etc. He begins to have many such things, everything. So pratibhadva sarvam. Now, this next sutra says that Hridaye chit sambit. You see. So, if the yogi makes samyama on the heart, then knowledge of minds comes to him. But Swami Vivekananda himself used to say that he could know the mind of the person in front of him by making his mind totally void and then concentrating the mind on the mind of the person who is in front. So thereby he could, you say, all his or her ideas would flash before you. Now, the next sutra is saying that Sattva Purushayor Uttanta Sankirnayoho Prattaya Vishesha Bhogaha Parthatvat Sartha Sanyavat Purusha Jnanam. Now, the meaning is this. That this Purusha and Buddhi, they are extremely different things. Though they seem to, they are always connected because what is in your flashing in your Buddhi, that is coloring the Purusha, and thereby they are, you see, as if united, but they are the two separate things. Buddhi is a part of matter because it is a part of mind, so it is a part of matter, whereas your Purusha is the spiritual thing. Now, when they are seem to be the same, that is called bhoga, which is the condition of ordinary men and women. They are having bhoga, that means sukha or dukkha. They are, you see, because whatever is in their buddhi, with that their respective purushas are coupled. So that is called bhoga. Now, that's why this bhoga is parartha. That means it is the vishaya bhoga. That means it is tasting or it is having the negative taste of vishaya. That is purusha. And that is bhoga. And when the samyama is made on purusha itself, that is not parartha, that is swartha. Swa means the swa is, you see, the Sanskrit swa is cognate with, in French we call soi. You see, this soi and this soi, they are cognate. You see. So swartha, that means for its own. See, when samyama is from that you get the knowledge of the Purusha. That means the idea is that when this Purusha and Buddhi, if you can make it separate, which is difficult normally, we are what we feel normally. So we must we must make this separation between our if each one of us has a real me, the interiority. With that, this feeling you have to separate. If you are able to do that, gradually the power comes, and then it happens. Tata, next sutra, that means we are coming to Sutra 36. Tata Prativa, Shravana, Vedana, Adarsha, Swadavasta Jayante. From that, when you have this, that means when you have separated the feeling or here buddhi means these things, whatever you are feeling. From that, your essence, when you can do that, then you have the knowledge to knowledge regarding this related to prativa. That means you become, and it is being explained, that supernatural hearing, touching, seeing, tasting, smelling, all these things come to you. You will hear very distant noises. You will be able, if you want to do it, touch someone in a distance. So it is there in the Kathamrita, there is an anecdote. The great Acharya of Brahma Samaj, Vijay Krishna Goswami, came to Sri Ramakrishna and said that I have seen you in Dhaka, in my room. You appeared in my room, I have seen you, you see. So, you see, Dhaka and Sri Ramakrishna is in Dakshinashwar, they are so many miles away. The yogis can do it. This is, or you know that the case of who was in Kamahati, and as usual in the early morning, it was not yet, the day has not yet started, it was dark, and she was doing japa, and suddenly she felt that someone was touching her, and she saw Sri Ramakrishna is to her left and touching her. Then she was amazed how it was happening. Then Sri Ramakrishna transformed himself to Harishta, which is child Gopala. You know this story. So the yogis can do it. You see. Anyway, of course, Kamahati is not that distant. It is some about 6 kilometers from Dakshineshwar. So such things happen. You say you can do it. Te samadhu pasarga vitthane siddhaya. This is a great statement. Sutra 37. All these things are really achievements when you are not in yoga. You are in the ordinary state. But for a person who is targeting samadhi, they are upasarga, they are obstacles. All these occult powers which have been described, they are all obstacles for a person trying to achieve samadhi. But they are called achievements for others, vitthane. This is very important. Here, in a sense, Patanjali is warning spiritual your aspirants. But as a scientist, he is confirming it that this is possible. You see, these are the things which happen to, and we find in the life of Sri Ramakrishna again and again. He is, you see, once Sri Ramakrishna told Naren that as a result of spiritual practices, he has many such powers. And now, since he does not use them, whether Naren would like to have some of these powers from him. Naren asked then that, will it help my spiritual evolution? Sri Ramakrishna said, no, it will not help spiritual evolution. But if you want to do, you see, some things in this world, it can be of some help. You see, Naren said that, let me put it off now. You see, I do not want it now. So Sri Ramakrishna was very happy that he said so. So this is a great lesson that samadhu pusarga. And in another sutra, they say, which will come later on, he says that Patanjali says that if he says it, kusida means interest. You have some prasankhane kusidasya sarvata viveka khyate dharmega samadhi. That is the sutra. That means when you have this highest knowledge and you have some interest by the side, you see, of this capital, this interest is this powers. These are your interests. So akusidas, one who is not taking this interest, you see, and using this interest, prasankhane kusidasya sarvata viveka khyate. All the time his viveka is alert. This discrimination is alert. So due to that, he has dharma mega samadhi. That means samadhi without effort. You see. We find it in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Someone sings, someone says something, he goes into samadhi without any effort. This is in the language of Patanjali, he calls it dharma mega samadhi. As the megha means cloud, as the cloud gives rains and your fields are irrigated, easily without the farmer's effort. So similarly, dharma megha samadhi. We have seen in the lives of Sri Ramakrishna and Chaitanya Deva these things, that effortless samadhi. Every now and then they used to go into samadhi. So you know this picture of Ramakrishna, which is normally worshipped, the history. He was sitting on the porch of the Krishna temple which is a minor temple in the Dakshineshwar. He was sitting there, and Bhavanath, Naren, etc. Bhavanath specially has brought a cameraman. In those days, the box camera. And they proposed to Sri Ramakrishna that they would like to have a photograph. Ramakrishna refused. Naren said that don't be disheartened, I shall do something, trick. So he went in front of Sri Ramakrishna and began to sing. With one or two songs, Sri Ramakrishna went into samadhi. Then Naren came back, hurry up, now you have to do the thing. This is how this photo was taken. Okay, let us stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Any question?
Can you show the picture again, Sri Ramakrishna's one
Which picture?
that you just spoke of just now?
Show the picture. This is the worshipped picture, you see, in the center.
Like that.
Yes. Yes, yes. This is the picture. So, okay.
Okay, Pranam Swamiji.
Okay, namaste.
Pranam Swamiji, namaste.
Pranam Maharaj.
Yes.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Okay, no mention. Yes.